Okay, recording is turned on.
Got it. So in this call, we're expecting only Arav, Advik, and Faraz, right? Nikhil and I keep forgetting the other guy's name. Nikhil and
Prajwal.
Prajwal. Nikhil and Prajwal are not available.
I'm gonna
Like actually thought through. So how are you doing it? Were you doing it together? Like with like discussions, brainstormings?
Honestly, yeah, we just did our own research and then like a bit before this class, we like kind of combined our documents into stuff from what both of us found, and we just combined the whatever was better between us.
Got it, got it. But both of you are on the same page, right? Like in the
Yeah,
sense.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect,
yeah.
perfect. Any differences? Any changes you? I mean, how? Like, what did you learn from the activity?
Honestly, from what I learned, there's a lot more stuff going about like this pet shelters all in India than in Hong Kong. Because the stuff Advik found like more India based, there was so much more in there. And when I tried to find like direct competitors in Hong Kong, there weren't any. Like I couldn't find any at all. So like last class he said WhatsApp was one, so I just had to use that as my main one. But like again in India, Advik found like three or four different ones. So we're just kind of going with that because there's more of that right now.
Right, interesting. So there's this one interesting. I forgot who shared this article about it, but when you see that there's fewer competition, it's an advantage. Because you know there is a very small set of people who are interested in it, but these are very
Yeah,
motivated set of people. So it's easier, slightly easier to penetrate the market there, right? So
yeah,
I think what you guys are up to possibly could mean something meaningful.
yeah.
Cool. Um, let's wait for us to come by and then we'll start.
yeah.
Uh,
So did you guys run into any blockers while doing research? You might be confused somewhere.
There was one thing that I found a bit difficult. It was like, for example, finding like app reviews for like 1 or 2 star reviews is difficult because a lot of this apps they have their reviews disabled on the Play Store, which is a bit annoying. And there aren't even many apps for iPhone. There was only one that I could see, the Point app, and that's where I got some reviews. But it is a bit difficult in that sense because like it's difficult to find negative reviews because it's generally very positive area because like donating and like volunteering. It's like no one really signs it negative unless they've had a bad experience at the shelter, which is a bit more specific, which I tried to use, but it was still like not as easy, I would say.
but very smart thing that you guys did, right? Like I saw you sourcing not direct negative feedback, but sort of indirect negative feedback. But these are like points that clearly tell us that people are actually facing this problem, right? So typically, what happens? In fact, fun fact, right? Like there was this one product that we were working on before. We believed, having a certain feature was super important, super critical. We wanted to kind of push a lot of resources on building that. But then we started looking at some of the features. Like we couldn't find anybody talking about it. We couldn't find anybody like complaining about it. Most importantly, there were competitors who are doing it brilliantly. There's no point trying to fight in the same space again, right? So see, the whole point of market research and all of that is to uh, give us a lot more confidence that okay, whatever we're doing it right, or maybe we need to pivot, or there's a new direction that we need to explore it, right? Like so in this case, right? For example, India, there seems to be some users who are already using some of these pet shelter services. Like you said, in Hong Kong, there weren't any. So either
Yeah,
there's no market or maybe people are not used to it. So it's a good thing to try putting things out, right? Like they're pretty interesting things out
yeah,
there. Now, like there is going to be like a larger conversation later on, further down the classes on how do you talk about your service or your product? How do you get people to know about it, right? So these are things
yeah,
that will eventually become very important. We'll talk further in the next set of sessions.
yeah. Honestly, in Hong Kong, I don't think there isn't a market because I've heard people actually experience that problem, like not knowing where to donate. People I talked to, some of my friends, family friends, I've actually heard them like talking about that problem. But obviously, cause there isn't anything in the app right now, I wasn't able to find any reviews or any like actual problem that exists right now.
Interesting. So do they maybe? another thing which you could also dig deeper is, have you found people who donate for not just pet shelters, but in general, right? Pet related, right? Like for example,
Yeah,
health or I don't know, just like adopting a pet or anybody,
yeah,
anything of that sort, right? Like because that maybe try getting some sense of do people do that geographically or anything else, because that gives you a very interesting space. Maybe they're not looking for pet shelters, but maybe they're looking for support on how to handle pets or something like that. There could be like multiple other things as well. So it's a very good
yeah,
place to start with.
Hey,
yeah.
Faraz has joined. Faraz, can you also come on video?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
for us,
Okay.
hi, perfect. Uh, let me share my screen. One second. All right. Give me a sec till I arrange some of the things. Oh, let me know if my screen's visible.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. So session 2 will talk about uh, how you think about AI first practices for product building. So throughout this session, and in fact in this entire cohort, right, will be heavily focusing on AI first, AI first. There are like reasons like why AI first approaches make a better sense in today's world. Is this relevant probably like 3 4 years down the line? Probably not. But why is this going to be relevant now and in the future? Like things will keep popping up uh, in every session till the end. So follow along. And again, like as
Yeah.
usual, if there are any questions, feel free to stop and ask away, or just type it in chat. Either me or Pritesh will take those. Right. But yeah, first things first. I've seen Arav and Advik your document already. So would you like to do a quick recap of your target users, pain points, competitors, and market gaps, and basically what your MVP is? Like a very take 2 minutes to do a quick recap. One of you, Arav, Advik, because you're working on the same project.
Yeah, sure, I'll do it. So target users is basically anyone who wants to donate to dog shelters or who has the ability to donate to dog shelters, but doesn't know how to do it or where to donate, how to donate, or they think it takes too much time. And our main pain point is it's hard to donate to dog shelters because many people are not aware of where they can donate, the legitimacy of dog shelters, and they try to do extra research. So that's what we're trying to solve. Our competitors are other apps which allow you to donate to dog shelters or connect NGOs, dog shelters with clients. But a gap in the market is that many of those apps don't have all the features you need. For example, being able to donate, adopting a dog from the website. So our idea is to build a website that from where you can build a website or app for where you can adopt dogs, not adopt dogs, sorry, donate to dog shelters. Um, First mainly money, and as we go on, we can do have a gift registry where you can donate physical items like blankets, food, toys, etc. And maybe down the line we can actually like have a dog adoption service.
Brilliant. I think this is most importantly what I really liked in the way you guys have been thinking about MVP is like, for example, when you say donation, right? You could literally donate like a ton of things, but you focused on one part, which is money, probably because maybe that's the major, let's say 80% of more of your users might want to donate money.
Yeah,
Also, the fact that it's easier to build something where you simply make a transfer, right? It's
yeah,
a brilliant place to start with, and of course, I saw your document that you've also written in the future. What could this entail into? Pretty spot on, bang on, right? Good
yeah.
stuff there. For us, were you able to spend some time
Yeah.
on that? Yeah.
So target users for my Capstone is essentially teenagers, and their main pinpoints, what I've seen from the reviews, is that all my competitors don't really have a very good user interface. They are making the stock market apps like as if adults are using them, but these are kids who are very new to the entire forum of stock markets, and that's what are the main complaint I could see in the reviews. Now, I have noted down three competitors. I have it in a list here. Uh, yeah, first competitor is Investmate. Second is paper trading on Thinkorswim, and third is Stockpile. All of these have one common problem, that is again the user interface. And MVP idea is if I could make my application's user interface much more teenager friendly, then I guess I could get a very big head start on the others.
Mhm. Right. Perfect. To get a sense, right? Like so what does this research like before you did this research to after you did this research? Were there any gaps in your thought process on how you'd like to proceed forward?
Yeah. Personally, I thought all I would have to do is start building and get a framework ready. But now I realize that I have to focus on some aspects much more than the other. Like I
Right.
have to focus on the design of the application much more than some other aspect which is not as useful.
Perfect. I mean, pretty smart. Like, in fact, like right now, if I were to ask this question, like there was this one anchor question that we've asked in the previous session, right? What is that one thing that you'd want to focus on, right? Like from this
Yeah.
basic discussion, for us, it is like maybe like the design aspect of it, how easy you're making, let's say, navigation, understanding, basically the user experience of it. And for Advik is, I've also read one more point that you guys mentioned. It's a trust factor, right? Like no. To tell people that some sort of a service like this exists where you can simply pick a shelter and donate and see what happens there, right? Like now, these are specific laser sharp focus. Like when we started off, there was an idea, a broad idea in mind. Now there's a business direction that we have, right? But from here on, it tells us our direction. But then there's still one possible piece that is missing between your research and what you're actually one sec building, right? Which is like let's take a step back and think of what how most products are built and designed, right? Somebody has an idea, like why do people form companies, why are there teams built and all of that? Because not one person has the capability to do everything. There is somebody who does design, there is somebody who does coding, let's say front end navigation screens and stuff. There's somebody else who does the back end, like user authentication, logins, saving your data and all of that. Somebody else who does marketing and the rest of the things. Like only when all these pieces come together, you have like a successful product, right? So the first thing, let's say, if you were to hire a developer tomorrow to build what you're building, right? What would you tell them? Like, how are you going to communicate? Assume that you're not coding this entire thing yourself, right? You may be a coder, but you may not know how to get a proper design first. You may be a designer, but you may not know how to code properly. You may be a designer come coder, but you don't know how you can market it out there. So whoever you onboard later on, how would you communicate what you want to build to them? Open like uh, uh, take some guesses, like feel free, like give it your thoughts. What do you think?
I would probably try to tell my developer to picture them as a teenager using the application itself, so that they could, try to resonate with the target audience we are trying to get to use our application.
Right. That is one. Arav, Advik, any thoughts from you?
I would say that perhaps like one thing that I could say is perhaps talk about the basic idea of our app. Like basically we decompose the app and filter it down to the main points like the USP or the idea. like such as it's made for volunteering and donating. That is like those major points, and talk about how the app should be built around those things, and it should be built in the perspective of the user. Like think about who the user might be and what their goals might be. I think there's a name for this thing, but I forgot what it is specifically. Like for example, they may be a dog, someone who's just interested in dogs and wants to donate towards a cause. There may be someone who's like very into dogs and want to help out in shelters. Maybe someone just wants to play with dogs, maybe doesn't want to actually do some volunteering work, but just wants to relieve stress in that sense. I have to think of all the users and how the app should be shaped to benefit them.
Right. Very nice. Arav, you want to give it a shot?
I would just say we want to create a website that has a list of dog shelters, and I would say the most important thing that I would tell the coder or the designer would be there should be a way for the users to directly donate to shelters without it going through a third party app or site. Like we don't want to get involved in the payment, so the users' money should go directly to the shelters. I think that would be the main thing for me.
Right, right. And in fact, brilliant answers, all three of you, right? Like, in what you've told, right? Although there's one common point, if you notice, right? Like, basically, the mode of communication. For example, if I say, "Hey, I want," imagine, for example, if I say, put yourself in the shoes of a teenager who's trying to navigate through the stock market, right? Now, and let's say I'm one developer and Pritish is another developer. Let's say I may or may not because there is a subjective thing. My ability to understand how a teenager thinks like and design accordingly versus Pritish's ability to think of how a teenager thinks like would be different, right? So this means that there is certain that I might be building a certain set of features. Pritish might be building another set of features which may not probably talk to each other. There has to be one single source of truth, right? Similarly, like I think Advik, you've mentioned one thing, right? Like different types of users. I think you were referring to something called user personas, basically where you talk about like who are you solving for, what are you solving for, right? So the missing bridge is as simple as a document, right? It's called a product requirement document. It's called a PRD, right? This is an industry standard term. The most important document that this is typically the very first document that often gets written before any product gets further created. And now coming back to what it actually entails, right? Like it has all the details that you guys just described, but written down so that this serves as a single source of truth for everybody working in that team. So this will have like what is the objective, like what are we building for? Right? This will also have like Advik, like what you said. Uh, these are different user personas, and these personas face these issues, right? This will also have like the description, like what you said for us. Like this is for a teenager, right? Like the navigation design is a problem, we're trying to solve for that problem. Arav, you also mentioned about, hey, it's going to be a website, like the packaging, is it like a website, is it an app? So all these details are going to be presented inside this document, and this document is usually served as a single source of truth. Now, so
Yeah.
again, take the same example, right? Like now, last session and this session between Pritish and me, we have a document that we're using to present a document out there. Now, the reason is if this document exists. Now, today, we are taking a certain flow with this cohort. Now, imagine there's a different cohort and I'm not there, and Pritish has to run this session two. Now, with this document guiding us, it is ensured that both me and Pritish are going to deliver more or less the same level or the same flow of content out there in any number of sessions out there. So for us, for the context of this particular session, this document can be considered as sort of a PRD of sorts. Right? It's basically a reference document where we put in all stuff. Right? Now, how do we build it? How does it look like? We'll kind of get to it in just a bit, right? Um, so traditionally, like I mean, when I say traditionally, this was true even like about a couple of years ago. To write a single PRD, there used to be a couple of a small team of product managers who used to talk to different stakeholders. Now, who's a stakeholder? Like for example, if you take the stock market simulator, right? Stakeholders are essentially students, right? Because they are the ones who are currently using it. But then there are other stakeholders also, programmers who are going to code for your app, designers who are going to mock up your screens, marketers who are going to take the content and probably market your product out, and all so on and so forth. Product managers typically used to talk to all of these stakeholders, take requirements, discuss ideas, and then start putting things out. And this used to take literally weeks worth of time, right? And oftentimes, whenever there's a timeline pressure or something, people used to start guessing user stories. Right now, again, what is a user story? It's nothing but a simple statement which says, "Hey, my users should be able to, let's say, fetch real-time stocks over the last 7 days." Like, getting to that level of precision, what would your users do, right? And of course, like there used to be so many multiple iterations. There's one advantage of the traditional approach though, because it is done with multiple stakeholders out there over an extended period of time. It is more robust and more authentic. Now, these days, recently, with AI coming through and accelerating literally everything out there, uh, PRD is now becoming more of a 1 2 hour exercise, right? Especially for products at this scale, a PRD could be completely well written in an hour or so at best, right? Now, this, because again, how AI thinks, how AI works, like where is it learning from? Why is it giving a good PRD or a bad PRD? These are things that we will discuss out right next. But this is the fastest way to start picking up a PRD, right? So what is the stack that you're going to use while you're building a product? Like, who can try giving a guess of what a stack means? Anybody?
Does it
I'll
relate
just
to like the front end, back end, and all that?
sort of. So think of stack as either the platforms or the tools or technologies that you would use to build your product, right? So in that sense, what you said is right? Now, in this project, right now, there are three governing principles. One, it's a meaningful product that we're building, and we're racing against time. Basically, we need to build fast. Fast pace is the key here, right? So to do that, AI development stack is the best way because it turbocharges your entire build process, right? Now, you like there are multiple things. So what we'll do next is what I'm going to show. So we'll be using chatbots like Claude, ChatGPT, Perplexity, and a bunch of other things for brainstorming strategies. In fact, I will also show you how to use ChatGPT or any of these for deeper research. So you've done your research already, right? Now we'll kind of show you means on how you can make it a lot faster and a lot deeper also, right? Then once your brainstorming, once your documentations, once your planning stage is all done, that's when we'll start moving into actually building it, right? Depending now, because most of you have computer science background already, you could choose your own IDE to start building it, or you could move to a web container based technologies and products like Bolt or Lovable. Has anyone tried Bolt or Lovable before?
I tried Lovable actually, like a bit. Actually, for this exact project, I tried to make an app with Lovable. It's really basic actually, and I don't think it's like as accurate to the ideas that we have now because it was a very early, very early. I tried to use it because apparently it was going to like revolutionize app making and all that. I just wanted to give it a try, but it's actually pretty good for all these jobs.
Right. And in fact, you know what? You'll hopefully by the end of session 3 or 4, you'll really start appreciating Bolt, Lovable, Cursor. There are like a bunch of such tools out there, right? Uh, and this session is precisely that. Now there are these state-of-the-art tools, but how do you optimize? How do you improve their efficiency? How do you get them to build what you want to build, right? Most of this tool, the problem is you tell it something, it will add its own imagination and build something else, right? Like how do you prevent that from happening? How do you control these tools? How do you ensure that they listen to you and not vice versa, right? So these are something that we will talk through in the next set of sessions, this session being the most important one, right? So for front end, Bolt, Lovable, and then there are a couple more things which we will explore soon. And then for databases, I mean, Superbase is one popular database, Postgres based database that is popping up recently because it's very AI practice friendly. But there are like a bunch of other databases that we could use too. But one question, right? What programming language do you think, powers all these tools effectively? Like literally ChatGPT, Bolt, Superbase, like databases, anything. What
Maybe
programming language?
probably Python, I would say.
Okay. Any other uh, thoughts? Any other questions? Sorry, any other answers apart from Python? All right, let me go ahead. What if I told you the answer is not, I mean, it's English. Now, what's gonna power the future of programming is plain English. ChatGPT, how do you use it? You prompt in like basic English, right? Bolt, lovable. Again, what do? You prompt. Superbase, like to set up your tables and everything. Yeah, I mean, sure, you could write your SQL queries, but then Superbase and every other database product is now adding its own AI layer out there. So that even if you're not super strong with backend processes and everything, you can still go ahead and design what you want, provided you know what you want, right? And in fact, like this change is real, right? Like, do you recognize either of these guys? Jensen, Sam Altman?
Yeah, I recognize both.
Yeah, same.
Ye- Yep. I mean,
Me
why
too.
are these guys super sought after these days?
Uh, the man on the left is Nvidia's. I guess he's the CEO right now,
Correct.
and the guy on the right, he's the CEO of OpenAI. So like basically the creator of ChatGPT.
Correct. Right. And these are two most sought after people right now, right? Like literally every AI product literally is powered by NVIDIA chips, right? Like it, and I mean, if you're following the tech news, like NVIDIA is going super crazy in terms of they're doing pretty well. Now, ChatGPT, it's the fastest growing tech product, super high adoption rates, and revolutionary, right? Now, these guys, like both of them, if you in some interviews, Jensen was like, "There's a new programming language. It's called Human." And then Sam Altman says programming at the beginning of 2025 and the end of 2025 is going to be very different. Now, what does this really mean, right? Like, back in the time, for for you to kind of, you had an idea, for you to try and test whether this idea works out, is profitable, or people are looking for this or not. For you to do that, you need to have a front end engineer, you need to have a back end engineer, you need to know programming, you need to know like a bunch of things for you to assemble a team, put in money, to fund the salaries, and then build a product, test it out and stuff. And hence, a lot of thought used to happen before an idea is executed. But now, 2025, you just have an idea in mind. The cost of building that idea is super cheap and super fast. So most of the traditional research processes or validation processes are now getting skipped entirely. Today, people who never wrote a single line of code are going ahead and building products. So, for example, there's this product called Postbridge. So that guy doesn't know a single line of code, but he's raking up like he's almost close to $200,000 already in about 6 months, right? Like people who absolutely don't know how to code are now launching products left, right, and center. This is what they mean by prompting is a new programming language, and in further sessions you'll clearly see why, right? And I think this is where I'll stop screen share. I want to do like a fun little exercise. Um, so have you heard like what? Sorry, just a minute. I want to see how I can uh, stop screen share. Okay, I want to see. I want to know if you've tried any of either ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity or any of such chatbots.
Yeah.
You,
Yes.
you have tried, right? All right. And what do you think of their, let's say, quality of output? How often do you see it giving you exactly what you want?
I would say roughly four-fifths of all my answers which I received were accurate.
Nice, nice. Oh, perfect. Let's try a small thing, right? Like this, for example, let's take 3 minutes from now. Uh, Go to ChatGPT, Claude, or whatever tool that you're comfortable with, and for the product that you are going to build, right? Write an introductory, let's say, imagine, let's just say you're announcing to the world outside on LinkedIn or any social media outside, saying that, hey, I'm building this revolutionary product, blah, 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 whatever it is, right? Like whatever your product is, right? Come up with an impactful post that you can share with the external world. You have 3 minutes of time starting now. I'll start the timer. Um, I'll I think we'll start talking again after 3 minutes. Your time starts now. We have another minute.
Sorry, we have to ask it to make a post for our app, right?
Yeah, for the product that you are planning to build. Need another minute? All right. If you're ready, can you share your screen and let's start taking a look.
Yeah.
Again, there's no right answer for this. There's no which is the best answer as of now. The idea is to find some correlation between the input and the output.
But just to confirm, after telling the details about like our app, what are we supposed to exactly ask them? Like, do we just
It's a
ask?
like whatever you think. Like I said, like we there's no framework just as yet. Think of this as a starting point, right? Like it's a free prompt and a free input and a free output.
Okay, free.
Okay, can I share my screen?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Yeah. This is what I received.
Perfect. So you're on GPT. All right. Okay. So you're saying this is a LinkedIn post. Perfect. The thrill to unveil the most exciting invention in the teenage world. A nice stock market app built by teens for teens. Nice. Okay. So a few questions, right? Like, so for example, real-time graphs, interactive learning. By the way, do you like this message?
It's fine, I guess. The characters which I put it into the prompt, it pretty much caught everything. All of this and all.
Can you now scroll up
Yeah, the
to
prompt,
show
yeah.
me prompts? Yeah, I'd like to introduce you to the very invention in the teenage world this decade, a stock market for teens.
I meant very best. Yeah, that was
Yeah, perfect. See, that's the beauty of LLMs, right? Because
yeah.
these, I mean, we can have like an entire session just on how LLMs work, how they think, and all of that. But in the interest of time, I'll skip all of that. But that's the thing, right? You can make typos. You don't necessarily have to put in picture perfect English and stuff, right? It understands it. It gets it, right?
Yeah.
Brilliant, awesome. So I was about to ask, right, like where did the features, where did it pick the features from? I think it's based on the prompt of that. Perfect,
Yeah.
awesome. In fact, most likely what I like here is the tagline: a stock market app built by teens for
Yeah,
teens
this
is
is
going to strike really, really well with your target audience as well. Right? In case, and if you want to do this as a launch post, in fact, you can actually take this out and maybe some small polishes out there. Perfect. This is great. Arav, Advik, would you guys want to go next?
I can share mine, yeah. This one's what I got.
Oh, you use Poe. Nice.
Yeah, I prefer Poe. It's just easier for me.
Perfect.
And
So,
ChatGPT is not available in Hong Kong either.
oh, okay. Got it. Got it. All right. Here it is. Paw Connect, the app for dog lovers. Donate directly. Verified shelters. Time saving. Nice. Can you scroll up to see the input prompt that you've shared? Scroll up further. Right. Make a post from it. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Advik,
Yeah,
you ready?
I'll share my screen.
So you're using Perplexity. Got it. Okay. And which model did you use in Perplexity?
I just picked the automatic one.
Cool,
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
Done.
Oh, yeah,
Uh,
I will mention one thing. If you like live in India, right? I mean, if you're in India and you use Airtel like service, they give it Perplexity Pro free for 1 year. So that's what I'm using.
the steal deal, by the way. I mean, if
Yeah.
you have Airtel, you should take it.
Yeah, that's the only reason I'm using it. So it's quite nice. Yeah.
Right. Sorry, I didn't see the prompt. Could you?
Sorry.
Yeah.
This is the prompt.
Just give me a template for an Instagram post or poster on the topic. Perfect. The post template is bridging this. So what you can do, right? Make a positive impact. Nice. Perfect. So now, like this, you guys have literally taken like 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes to come up with this, right? Like, and now think of it like if you were to start actually posting this outside on LinkedIn or in this case, Instagram, it would have taken hours to uh, think this through, get the writing, even the design in this, for example, in Instagram post, it has already given you the copy that would go into the image and also maybe the, what do you call the caption as well, right? Now, if I can ask you one question, if so, this is a short text, right? Now, if you were to take it like a step higher, right? Now, let's say if you were to start writing the product requirement document. Now, you have heard of a PRD, but you have not completely understood what exactly a PRD means, right? Can you try getting a PRD here for each one of you in the prompts that you've started? Can you try writing a PRD?
Do I stop sharing my screen now?
Sure, sure. You could do that. Let's take another 3 minutes again, but then let's try getting a PRD again. So again, it's absolutely fine if you don't know what PRD is, what things are existing in a PRD. Absolutely fine, but that's the whole point of what we're going to take in next, right? So your time starts now again, 3 minutes. Let's try writing a PRD.
Sorry, what does PRD stand for?
It's product requirement document, but if you're
Ah,
using
okay.
a prompting tool, right? Like, the full form doesn't even matter. You could just
Got it.
say, hey, write me a PRD or something of
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
so we just have to ask the AI to make us a PID using the same prompt.
I mean, try it out. It's a no restrictions, no constraints.
And what did you say? What is the full form of the PRD?
Product requirement document.
Product requirement. Okay.
And if any of you are done, you can go ahead and screen share and start looking at it.
Yeah. That's what I got.
Nice. Okay, so it says it gives a project overview. And what's your input prompt for this? Can you
I just
scroll up?
put write me a detailed PRD for this app I'm building.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. Scroll it down. Like the vision is this use features, user registration, all of that, shelter browsing, direct donations, donation history, notifications. Again, for shelf features, registration, profile management, donation tracking, admin view, shelter verification, user management, analytics dashboard, user experience, download the app, create an account, browse shelters, make a donation. Perfect. Okay, wireframes, include wireframes. Okay, fair enough. Technical requirements, mobile, iOS, and Android, tech stack, security, marketing strategy, and stuff, right? Now, okay, this is a pretty good start, by the way, right? So so before this, right, like you as of today, you have a document which almost covers what you want to build,
Yeah.
right? But you didn't have an idea of what a PRD meant before.
Yeah.
That all you knew was a keyword. Right? So this is one exhibit of why AI first principles make it like building process like a lot easier. So you need, if you know that, okay, something exists, if you have the knowledge that something exists, you don't need to know what exactly happens inside. You just prompt away, and the prompt that you gave was a pretty simple prompt. It was as simple as write me a PRD, right? It has
Yeah.
given you like a bunch of things. Now from that PRD, if there is one thing that you might want to change, what would that be?
Um, Not change, but I would want to add one thing. It would be like the money that used to donate should go directly to the dog shelters itself, like directly to the bank accounts without going through us first. So we don't have to set up bank accounts or anything like that. That'd
Perfect.
be something
Okay,
I want to add to it.
that's one. Second one, what I observed in that glance is that AI assumed that it is going to be both an iOS app and an Android app. And it
Yeah.
said optionally we'll be building a web application as well.
Yeah.
Right? Now, typically, whenever we're kind of launching a product, right? Usually, one very interesting way is to start off with a web application. Why? Because, like, again, see, basic human psychology, right? Like, there is a friction that people, whenever you have to download a new app that you have heard for the first time, right? There is a friction that, okay, I don't know if this app is secure or not. I don't want to download yet another app onto my phone and all of that, right? There is certain friction. Now, what kind of apps do you readily install? For example, if you play games, right? Like someone says, say, install Call of Duty, you probably might install it within a second because you know that game exists. You know it's widely popular. You know that your friends use it. It's already out there, so there's no friction out there. So typically, people start a new app by making what is called a progressive web application. Basically, it is something that you can browse on you can go to a browser and you can access it. Right, so that's the first packaging which people usually do. But in this sense, AI assumed it's going to be a mobile app or an Android app, and directly proceeded to writing features and stuff. And it also skipped something that you wanted, right? Now, why do you think this happened? Why do you think AI didn't give us technically what we want? So there's still that delta. Now, that delta sometimes could be like missing data or more data. Why do you think that is the case?
Because maybe I think I didn't give it enough detailed enough description for what I really want, maybe, but I'm not quite sure, honestly.
Right, right. I think you're right, right? Like, description, detailed descriptions. Now, in the AI and prompting world, we call that as context, right? Like with AI, what we're really doing is we're doing context management. Now, let me show you, let me share my screen, and I'll kind of give a rough okay. So this is from one of the projects that I'm actually working on with a different client. Now, this is my prompt. Just take a look at the length of the prompt, right? I literally kind of say, this is one thing, then whatever I've done. this whole thing is one prompt. Right now, why do I use such long prompts? What I'm doing is I'm not leaving anything for AI to decide. Right? I want myself to decide what I want to do. I only want AI to accelerate the output. Meaning,
Yeah.
in this case, if I want to write a PRD, I will think like a product manager, and I will say, hey, these are the features that I want to do. Now, these are the type of navigation and UI that I wish to have. These are, like, let's say, the pain points that I want to solve for. Do not implement this or anything else, and this is my MVP. I define all of that first, and then get AI to, like, okay, I have my raw thoughts out there, and then let's kind of get this out. Now, here's a small exercise for you, maybe after this call, right? Now, how do you get to that prompt structure? Like, how do you make sure that enough context is added, right? Like, there are like a few other things. Once you build your product, right, for marketing it, you might have to write a lot of blogs. Now, if you ask a thing saying write a blog about pet shelters, it's going to assume a lot of things, because it's like this, right? You have absolutely no context. See, LLMs or chatbots, all of these are like human brains, right? Except they only do what you ask to do, right? If you don't give it complete information or context, it will go ahead and assume different things and start writing whatever. So if you talk about write a blog for a pet shelter, let's say based out of India, it would assume its own features and everything else and write about something which is not about your product. Right. So the change there is your prompt. Like, what happens in your prompt, whatever information that you give in your prompt, the format in which you give in those instructions or information, that is called context, right? And context management. So typically, this is one thing that you can start off with. Version one, let's say you'll start off with a basic prompt, which is I want to build a or I want to write a blog for a pet shelter application, right? And then you add more detail. Or let's say you want to write a PRD for a pet shelter thing, right? Now you add more context to think like a product manager who is writing a PRD for this, right? Then you add even more context. This is my user research document. Now, for the same thing, for based on for the PRD that you've attached, right? If you had uploaded, let's say, your marketing research document that you've written, the output would have been super rich, extremely rich in content and stuff. Like, so the more context you add, the better, right? So this is again this all of these documents, everything will be shared with you, so don't worry, you don't have to remember anything. But this one thing that you should definitely remember is called the race prompting framework. Is this the only prompting framework? Definitely not. There are like hundreds of such frameworks, but this is the simplest. Every prompt, make sure, this is very important, especially once you start building it on Bolt or Cursor or any of these tools, right? This framework is very important. In every prompt that you give, you need to specify what is the role of the AI. How should the AI think? Should the AI think like a product manager? Should the AI think like a market strategist? Should the AI think like a UX designer? Should the AI think like a copywriter for marketing, etc.? Right? Uh, Audience, who are you building this for? Right? Because this gives AI a lot of more context. Saying, oh, I have to think like this. I have to solve for these users. Now, the context is okay. In this case, the context is you're writing a PRD. You want to kind of come up with some sections and stuff, right? This is the context, and then typically giving an example greatly increases the quality of output. So, at its heart, right, LLM. So, for example, on your phones, right, you would have typed a message. Let's say, I am at the, and you pause. You'll see a few words that come up on your input box, right? Basically, your system is trying to predict what is the next word. LLMs are exactly that. All they do is try and predict the next set of words. Now, when we are predicting a short post, like for a LinkedIn post, it's easy. Like for example, if you were to predict what you might end up doing, let's say tomorrow, the chances of you predicting it is higher. But if I ask you, tell me what you're going to do over the next 3 months, the chances of you probably not predicting it right is also higher, right? Like, you may predict incorrectly. But then if I tell you, okay, over the last 20 years, this is what you've been doing, or again, maybe the last 15 years, this is what you've been doing. now predict what you're going to do over the next 3 months, there's a higher chance because you have a lot of data. So again, the more context you give, the better. This is a very important thing which we will start looking at in the next set of things, right? Again, this is for you to read after the session is done. Definitely read. I'll also share certain best principles for prompting, right? There are certain techniques called zero shot, one shot, few shot, and prompt chaining. What this essentially means is zero shot is directly saying, like as it says, right? Write me a blog post on pet shelter, right? One shot is, hey, I want to write certain, let's say, features for my application. Here is an example feature. AI learns a lot more based on the examples that you give. The more examples you give, the better it understands and the better is your output. Similarly, few shot is exactly that. Write functionalities for me. Example, functionality 1, functionality 2, functionality 3, right? And then there is prompt chaining. I think Arav or Advik, in fact, what all of you did just now was you started off with initial context, which said, hey, I'm building this, write a post. Then you said, okay, now write a PRD for me. Now this is called prompt chaining. You started off with certain thing. There is an output. That output is fed as context to the LLM when you give the next set of prompt, right? That is called prompt chaining. But most importantly, right? Like I'll take a short break right after this one. There is I'll open up the floor for questions, or maybe we'll do one or two more demos about how to do this. But one thing that I definitely want all of you to look at, like go to YouTube, look at a lot of things, is chain of thought. Now, chain of thought strategy is the best strategy in prompting. Now, and the logic here is very, very simple. When you tell AI to tell itself what it's doing, which is think step by step, like literally, if you use the words think step by step, or uh, reason, give me a reasoning as to why you're taking this approach, and then go ahead and write things for me. The moment you force these words into your prompt, right, the output becomes so much more better. For example, I think at this point we will get back into the demo, right? Now for this, the same first prompt that you gave, right, like where you wrote about a short LinkedIn post or something. Let's now try writing a blog post. This time, let's say take 5 minutes. I think we're almost at the end of the session in which case, right? We'll be doing a quick demo of this. And then there's just one thing that I want to show how to use the best practices of all of this. But one demo, this time, try to write a blog post about the same project idea. Try using the framework that I shared with you. Race framework, which is what is the role. If you want, I can keep my screen shared. So if you want to refer, that might be useful. So you could use a combination of the race framework. Your first prompt can be like your role. What are you trying to do? Who is the audience? What additional context are you trying to give? Uh, if examples you want to give, fair enough. Otherwise, not a problem. But I definitely want you to force this thing of think step by step and then start writing the blog, right? Do two things. Like start doing this first, and then we'll look at it. Like whoever finishes up first, let's screen share and see the results. Any questions? Feel free to ask now. Or let me do one thing. Let me open up my Claude. I hope my screen is still visible. Yes. No.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Perfect. So in the interest of time, right? Let me kind of take some prompts here and start writing it so that I can show it in parallel as to what's happening out there, right? Which product should we take? Should we take the pet shelter one? Advik, Arav, Faraz, feel free. Help me construct this prompt based on what you just saw. How do we start?
I will probably start by saying, build me a blog. Simply just build me a blog for my app. and then I would give some more context after.
Which is
For my case, since I already have it on poll, I put you are the founder of this app, and you have to write a blog for the users who have already used this app.
you said founder of Paw. What was the name? Paw.
I said you're the founder of Paw Connect.
Can you spell it, please?
Paw Connect.
Oh, Connect. This one.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
The founder
Close
of Paw
enough.
Connect.
And you have to write a blog for the users who've already used this app.
Okay.
But my one already had context. It doesn't know what app it is.
Right. Correct. So which means that is the first step that we need to build in. See, again, prompting is all this, right? You keep writing, but before you hit send, you keep analyzing. Have you given it enough information? Now, I think your chain of thought is correct, right? You first said, okay, build me a blog for my app. Then you said, okay, you're the founder of Pocketconnect, and you have to write a blog for users who've already used this app. Then you realize, okay, you've not given it context for it. There's one more thing that I would suggest here. Now, typically, who's the best in writing a blog? Because you want to write a blog here. So the role that you want to assign to AI should be the role who is usually the best at writing blogs. So founders may be technical, non-technical, may not be the best at writing blogs. Right? So for example, you could do this. You are an experienced blog writer who writes extremely, let's say, interactive and conversational blogs. You are writing the first introductory blog for Coffin, aimed for users who already use this app. Now, the difference between the first prompt and this prompt, right now, it already like what do you think? Do you think this is going to give a slightly better output or the previous one? I mean,
I
uh,
guess we haven't really told the target audience.
perfect, perfect. Let's start doing that. The target audiences. Yeah, help me fill the target audience description.
The target audience would be like people like users who are passionate about pets, want to donate, want to contribute towards animal welfare.
Okay.
Do we have to give like an age gap? An age like threshold or anything? Because it's for all ages.
Sure. I mean, see, the more, again, I'll stick to the same way. So the difference is, for example, if you give an age filter of, let's say, age 28 to 35, for example, right? Then it will it will understand that this blog is for adults and it will start writing things about finances and stuff. But if you say it's for all age groups, right? It will try and make a balance of things that are interesting for kids also and so forth. But typically, who reads blogs?
Blogs, they're read by like adults generally. So
Correct. So this medium is for naturally it's for even if you write something for a kid, there's a highly unlikely chance that a kid may not read it. So you'll probably say age between
like 20 to 50 years old, something like that.
yeah 20 to 50-year old.
Or it can say like how the AI is going to like speak, like the tone of the entire blog will be dictated.
Brilliant, brilliant. The tone of the blog should be. How do you want the tonality to be?
Should be like semi-formal, like engaging and like, engaging, catchy, but still informative.
And informative. Brilliant. This is very good. Okay. Anything else? What else can we do to make this more contextual?
For my one, I put you should also highlight the achievements the app has had over
Ah,
the period and highlight those in the blog.
okay. This is a very good direction. In fact, if you're able to give the achievements so far, it'll give you, it'll include all of that. That information makes this blog super personal. People keep saying, if you've been on the social media for a while, right? People keep saying, uh, all AI blogs sound the same, all AI websites look the same. That's because people don't give this context that we are giving it right now. The moment we give this context, it is equivalent to you who's writing it, because the thoughts are yours, the idea is yours, the structure is yours, the training is yours. It's your blog and your blog completely, and it look very similar to what your thoughts are. Now, in this case, because we're saying this is the first introductory blog, right? Sure. Let's assume. Okay, help me with some achievements that the app has made already, hypothetically. Let's say onboarded 100 pet shelters, like and let's say helped shelters financially by donations of around of let's say 100,000 USD or whatever, like some random number, and started helping dogs, cats, and elephants. I don't know, like whatever that is, right? Okay. Anything else that you want to add to the add to context?
I guess we can add some statistics like every 4 minutes a stray dog dies or something like that.
Hmm. Perfect. Now, this is a very, very good thing, right? Like, okay, now we know that we have to add statistics because it will make the blog very, very credible. But we don't know those statistics yet, right? So what?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So one way to do this is I want to include some credible, verified, cited, verified statistics. Something like every 4 minutes a pet is waiting for help or something like that, right? You could give it like, so again, this particular sentence is what I said, one shot prompting, because I've given it one example. Hey, I want verified statistics. Here is an example of what kind of a thing that I want, right? Okay, this is one. Now we can keep adding more and more on this, right? Now let me do two things. Let me open up another Claude window where, so by default, I'm enabling web search so that it can refer to the internet and write me a blog. Let's now try a slightly different thing, right? Okay, while this runs, let's do one more thing, right? What I'm going to add here is I want you to think step by step uh, about the flow of the blog. It should start with a powerful hook, which makes readers pause and read the blog, and then break down the flow of the blog into bite-sized consumable content. So this is the only thing that we've done, right? Like we're saying, I want you to think of it step by step and all of that. Of course, this is still not the prompt that I would use for writing a blog, because we are missing other things. For example, we also need to say what keyword are we optimizing for and stuff. There are like a lot of SEO things, that search engine optimization things that we haven't given context about. But again, the whole point is to kind of show the difference between this and the previous one. So let's just do this. Okay. So and by the way, I mean, if we had the same discussion, let's say 6 months ago, you would have very clearly seen the difference between a normal prompt and a slightly improved prompt. But now the AI is becoming so good that even the line between a bad prompt and a good prompt is kind of sort of getting blurred. Now the difference is how personalized or how close to your style is the output looking like. Now that is what is a major thing about. So here it says, welcome to the Pocket community blog and stuff. You know that feel. See, I mean, look at this, right? Now, look at this titles. You know that feeling, right? Like with this, all of this is coming because of one word that we've used, which is interactive and conversational. Just because we said it's interactive and conversational, it's trying to kind of talk. It's talking to you directly, talking to the reader directly, right? Then the reality check we need every single day, oh, blah, 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 and all of that, right? And then it starts about this. Why? Because we specifically said we want some verifiable statistics. This is where POC Connect, let's celebrate what we've built. I mean, like, this is already good, right? I mean, if you've actually achieved all of this, you can actually take this and go ahead and paste it out there by default, right? Now let's see what this does. Every 90 seconds, another life enters the shelter. But here's the amazing part. Now, look at this. Which one? Do you think this people are more likely to click, or people are more likely to click this?
The second one.
The second one. Why? Because again, the moment we are forcing it to think step by step, and we're also forcing it to say that, hey, follow the structure where it should start with a punchy headline, which forces people to, especially if you're a pet lover. I mean, you see that, and then you're checking this. You're helping change the story one paw at a time, right? And then the reality we're tackling together, your impact story, and then it talks about all of this, the numbers that make us proud. Now, this looks like a very authentic thing. It also has like a what can you do next, right? And of course, like even all of this, right? So this is now how can you make this even better? For example, you could do something very similar, right? Uh, Take this and another. Here you could say, do not write the blog yet. Give me give me 7 headings of the blog. So basically, every blog has a heading. All of this contribute to the blog post and stuff, right? So here is starting off with, yeah, here is the thing. To our incredible 100 shelter, the breaking. Now, once you've got an AI to write this, now write the blog. I mean, again, this is still a very bad prompt. Like, it's a very simple prompt, but now you'll see that you have more control. Now, if you want, you can edit this. For example, you could say the heartbreaking reality that drives us forward. Let's say you don't want that. You can always say, hey, I don't want this. Maybe get a different thing out there. So this way, you're controlling even like parts of the entire blog itself, right? If you look at it, I think this is coming out to be better than the third one, primarily because you fixed the framework first. Earlier, you only fixed the context. Second prompt, you told it to think deeper. Third one, you first got it to come up with a framework, and then you're expanding on top of that framework. And hence, the blog is becoming like, it's actually a good blog is typically like 1,000 to 1,500 words long. It has depth, it has intent, it has content out there. This is happening out here, right? Like, I mean, if you want, I can share all these content out there with you. Yeah, I think that's more like it, right? Coming back to where we were, I'll quickly skip through a few slides about this, right? Correct. So eventually, so the outcome of this session is to use best practices of prompting to write that PRD. The more detailed, nuanced your PRD is, the easier will be your entire building cycle. In case if you do this, if you nail down this particular step of writing the PRD picture perfect, there is a possibility that you may actually complete the entire product within 10 weeks itself. Maybe you can complete it a little faster also. But if there is in context missing here, then it will take more time to catch up. So please pay a lot of attention here in this week. PRD is very, very important. Typically, you'll have objectives, you'll have target users and personas, user stories and scenarios, core features and requirements, and success metrics. Now, it doesn't matter whether you know all of these terms or not. That's the best part of working with AI. You know that these are 5 sections that are mandatory in your PRT. Now, if you don't know what a persona is or how to write a persona, you can always ask AI, what is a user persona? Explain it to me. So there is this thing called ELIS, like this stands for explain like I'm 5, right? It'll dumb down the entire explanation and teach it to you in a very interesting way. You should definitely try it out, right? Now, next steps for you is to pick up like the off session work that you need to do is you'll need to complete your AI assistant setup. Again, that's completely optional. We can do this in the next session also. But you need to use chain of thought to plan your PRD sections. You need to describe your app. You need to describe the role, the race framework, the role as a product manager, then describe what your app does. Focus only on the MVP. Do not see, it is very easy to get distracted or get overly influenced with AI, because AI, if you tell AI to do 5 things, it will do 10 things, right? But do not get distracted with that. Role, context of the app, then talk about things step by like, again, target audience, your pain points and stuff. Basically your marketing doc that you've the marketing research doc that you've written, that you give it as context. You can either upload the document or you take the relevant portion and give it to the AI saying this is the marketing research. You can use COT, or you can use prompt chaining. You can first give that marketing research as a first prompt. Hey, here's the marketing research that I've done. Analyze what you understood from that. Then you can say, okay, now I want to write the PRT. I want to include these sections, right? Plan for it properly. Once it gives you the plan, then you can prompt it to say, okay, now expand the first section, right? Now, typically with AI, right, in one conversation, you will not be able to write the entire PRT. This is where our last section is going to come by, which is projects. How many of you have heard of projects or spaces? Yes, for us.
Sir, I actually have another meeting at 9:15.
Sure, sure. We're mostly done. And in fact, I'll share the minutes of this right next. But mostly done. The outcome is just to get the PRD out. Next week, in fact, starting either Sunday second half or Monday onwards, feel free to schedule a half an hour session with me or Pritish, where we will sit with you and coach you to write the full PRD. This PRD section is super, super, super important. Very important, right? We have to get this right. For us, you can drop off if if you need to go. No, not a problem, right?
Okay, bye.
Yeah, sure. Bye. One last thing out here is, for example, this is called a project. A project has something called system prompt, right? Now, I've also written down a system prompt that you can use for your project. Now, a system prompt is nothing but it just tells AI what we are doing out there. Uh, so whatever information, in fact, you know what? Let's pause here. Try writing your PRD using conversations out here. I'll share this deck with all of you. Feel free to go through wherever you have questions, either ping on the group or DM or send an email, book a slot with us. Anything will be helping you out. Try writing a version of PRT. We will actually spend some time. In fact, we would like to spend at least half an hour individually with each one of you to go through the PRT, walk you through it, maybe do a working session with you in how do you prep your entire setup and everything for future uses as well, right? That's very, very important. Please read up PRD, read up prompting, and start putting things out there. It's all right if the PRD turns out to be very, very bad. Highly doubted. You guys are already doing good. Start writing, and we'll see where it heads up. Yeah. Awesome. Any questions?
No, sir.
Not. Okay, perfect. So let's see you again sometime mid next week. Feel free whenever you guys want to talk, definitely talk. I would definitely recommend a half an hour session where we review the PRD. Let's plan to do this before session 3 starts up next Friday, so that we'll get more time instead of having to cramp things up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
sure.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yes, Arav.
Thank
You
you.
had a question?
No, no, no.
Oh, perfect. Cool.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, I think the session got extended.
Yeah, I
All-
think we have to stop the recording first.
Yep. Um,